Okay, in D&D, we delve into dungeons with horrible, evil traps, monsters, and other unknown terrifying threats, all for a bit of gold. We battle dragons, assassinate political leaders, and save kittens, all for a bit of gold. We join guilds, take on part-time jobs, and rob people blind, all of course, for a bit of gold. And in traditional storytelling, we have thousands of stories all about people working their way through the entire story to earn just a bit of gold. And the reason on why we tell so many stories about gold is an interesting and sad query that I am not here to talk about. I don't want to talk about how we encourage our players with gold and how every story is about achieving masses of wealth because we all have been brainwashed into believing material possessions solve all of our problems, and at the end of every checkbook is the meaning of life. Instead, I want to talk about how we get our players to spend that gold after they've gotten it. And while doing so, I promise I will only slightly criticize our capitalist, consumer-driven society and instead focus on using the same tactics that evil corporations use on dopamine mines to make money on our own players. Did I say dopamine mines? I meant children. Anyways, this is about D&D, so let's get into things. So, your players don't want to spend their hard-earned gold pieces and precious stones, but you want to entice them to go on more adventures, and the easiest way to do that is with cold hard cash. Well, you see it, I see it, and yes, the answer is that simple. All you have to do is get your players to waste away all that money that they worked so dang hard for. But they aren't budging. In fact, they're budgeting. And that is because you aren't trying hard enough. I'm not even kidding. The only way you're going to get your players to give up their money is by you forcing it out of their cold, dead hands. Or you could just trick them into giving all of that gold away and in return throw them just a few trinkets to play with. And if you aren't following me just yet, hold on. Because yes, our players worked hard for all that gold. Hell, they killed a whole tribe of kobolds just to get to the red dragon and their horde. And yes, they know that saving the gold is smarter and could mean some good in the future. But think for a second on reality. How many people do you know, or even how many people at your table, work hard for their money? Probably every single one. But how many of those same people have hordes of wealth that they are just sitting and waiting on for the right moment to spend? Probably none of those people. And the reason they don't have that money is because they have already spent it. They spent it on a shiny new thing that they wanted the second they got the money because it was marketed to them before they made their money. So boom. Right there is step one of getting your players to spend their money. Market nice, shiny new toys to your players before their grand adventures where they make all of this gold. Take them to shops that have crazy magical items and taverns that have fancy drinks and show them the incredible sets of beautiful plate armor and market all of that to your players before they go fight the kobolds and the dragons. So that when they are sitting knee-deep in the blood of their enemies, all they are thinking about is that Nimbus 2000 that is waiting for them when they return home. And when you market to your players, take a note from literally anywhere you go to buy something. It really isn't that hard. Limited time special, 20% off this refurbished half-plate set at Mirian's Marketplace. Buy one, get one, half off, 10-pack arrows at Jack's Quick Stacks Archery Emporium. One-of-a-kind antique sword of legend, now free with every purchase of a Jimbo Jim's jerky ration this weekend only. When you are trying to get your players to spend gold, you need to become that evil shell salesman from SpongeBob. You need to become Violet Beauregard's dad from Willy Wonka. all you should be thinking is sell, sell, sell. That is your motto, and you need to do anything to get your players to shell out some of that gold so that you can keep making adventures. Do you remember watching TV as a kid and seeing all of those plastic crap toys? And do you remember wanting each and every single one of them, and even all of the ones in the same set, no matter what the cost was? Well, the mindset 8-year-old you had about action figures is the same mindset your party should have about their player characters. And what I mean is, you need to show them how awesome and fun the game would be if they had the super cool items you were trying to get them to buy. This goes for magic items, armor, or even food at a tavern. In some way, you need to show off the capabilities of your products. And you could do this in an assortment of ways: demonstrations, free samples, test drives, and everyone's Achilles heel, the infamous free trial. Any of these tactics are gonna work, and we know they're gonna work because they work every single day on millions of people in the real world. And if your players still aren't spending gold after everything that I have just told you, let me give you something really evil that will surely drain your players of their gold deposits like that, making them hungry for every big break they can get. Okay, right now, pause the video. I mean it. Think of all of the subscriptions that you have right now. Add those bad boys up and see how much you're spending. And I don't just mean Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon. I mean rent, Wi-Fi, and insurance, and all of these things that we need to live. These are all subscriptions that we pay. And what if we put all of those subscriptions into our D&D games? What if your players needed to pay for a place to stay, whether that be an apartment, a house with a mortgage, or a tavern, every night? Because if you were caught sleeping on public property, you are taken to jail and fined. What if the government enforced all magic casters to pay a license to legally practice their craft? What if there was a guild of clerics that would come to aid your party when they are on the brink of death, but in order to call for their aid, your party needed to pay them a large sum of gold to their organization every single month? Picturing this D&D world kind of makes you sad, doesn't it? And I'm not saying it's a bad idea. This game world could be fun. I mean, I can see a great story of rebellion spawning from this idea. But really think about it. Maybe the reason we reward our players gold isn't for them to spend it on themselves. I mean, the amount of gold they get is ridiculous. Maybe the reason we give our incredible heroes of the realm stores of wealth is for a different reason. Dragons, ancient lich, and beholders are the face of D&D evils. And all of these evils are defined by how they store mass amounts of wealth and knowledge and power for themselves. And more often than not, it is the mere fact that they keep all of these things to themselves that makes these creatures evil in our minds. So, if our players are going to be the heroes of these stories and kill the creatures for keeping this gold to themselves, maybe what we should be marketing to our players isn't shiny new toys, but instead good causes to give all this gold away to. Maybe the next time you run a campaign, do a bit of an experiment. Market all of those things I mentioned previously: armor, arrows, and swords, whatever you want. Be an evil businessman. But also, show your players a world where there is poverty and sickness and misery. And then market them an avenue to fix this world, whether it be a church or a kind organization. Let them see a place where they can fix this with just a price tag, and see where your players spend their gold, and see where those decisions lead your D&D stories. Thank you for watching another video, and thank you to Crassy Wassy for suggesting this video to me. I don't know if this is what you had in mind, but I hope you liked it anyway. If you want to suggest a video, talk this video, or talk D&D in general, go right ahead and leave a comment. And if you liked this video, leave a like and maybe even subscribe. If you're new here, maybe check out my last video where I talked food and D&D. And hey, this isn't a video of mine, but if you want to, I just saw a great technical D&D video about challenge rating by someone named Tekiros Game Changer. Maybe check them out as well, and as always, have fun playing D&D.